Hi Jewish Mom. So it's a very snowy morning in Jerusalem. Snow is something that happens in Jerusalem maybe for a few hours once a year, maybe every 2 years. So this is a really, I don't remember this much snow that actually stuck in the morning I haven't seen this for many years. So it's a big holiday in Jerusalem, and we're having a great time. My kids built a snowman. So I want to tell you about a snow-related experience that I had yesterday. Yesterday I had to go do a blood test at my HMO, at my Kopat Cholim, and I called the taxi. And when the taxi came, I was a little bit confused because it looked like a rescue vehicle. And I said, "Wait, is this the taxi?" And he's like, "Yeah, come pop on in." So basically, it was kind of like a little, looked like something like if I had been like stranded, lost in the wilderness. Like this was the kind of a vehicle that would come to save me, with all sorts of rescue equipment and medical equipment. And so I asked. And then I noticed that this person he had like a sign. On the back of the chair, there was like a vest from Yedidim, which is a volunteer organization that was traditionally set up to help people who are stuck, who are having car trouble. So I asked this man. I said, "Oh yeah, so now you work with Yedidim. You must be getting ready for the snow because in Israel." Since it snows so rarely, Israelis are very panicky and confused about the snow. It's kind of a mixture of panic / excitement. Great excitement about snow, but also Israelis really don't know how to drive in the snow. So I'm sure that Yedidim is flooded with calls today. So I asked him yesterday how they were getting ready for the snowstorm. He said, and then he showed me his feed of calls from Yedidim, all the different calls to help out in various ways. And this person needs to getting their car started. This person gets a flat tire, and he said, and when it starts snowing, so it's going to be off the charts. Everyone's going to need help. And I asked this man like how many hours he puts in with Yedidim, and whether he gets a salary, because he's actually the volunteer coordinator for a small city outside of Jerusalem. And he said, no, I don't. He said it's completely volunteer. He said this is how I make my money, driving around his rescue vehicle as a taxi, and so he said no, I don't make any money from it. It's completely like volunteer. I said, how many hours do you put in? He said I can't even begin to count the amount of hours I put in. He said this week alone I did 2 volunteer training events, and he said sometimes nothing will happen the whole day, and then I get a call at 12 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's like a not, and this person he oversees tens of thousands of volunteers. And so as we were approaching my HMO. I said to this taxi driver something that I heard. Sheila from Toronto, hi, shout out to you. You know who you are. She sends me the most wonderful, inspirational videos. She sent me a video this week about the volunteers in Israel, and a person was explaining that there are IDF divisions with tens of thousands of soldiers, but this person was saying, but we have an extra IDF we have an extra equivalent division of volunteers. We have the volunteers, like the people, like the person in this car, who take out the time and not making any money and just doing what they can to help their fellow Jew and help the Jewish people and help the people of Israel. And I said, and you, I said this to this man. I said, you're one of the leaders of this division of volunteers standing up for the Jewish people. And I just said, thank you so much for like this dose of inspiration in the morning. Wow. So I got to my Kopat Cholim, and I went up to the lab to do my blood test, and I was sitting next to a young woman, looked like she was maybe in her mid-20s, and she looked really pale, and she was sitting like with her feet kind of tucked underneath her, like really kind of looking really uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, she looks pregnant and miserable. Then when she stood up, I noticed that she has a little belly. Looks like she's about in her fifth month or so. And then I thought to myself, that's another member of this division, right? Of these volunteers, quote unquote, the Jewish moms who give up so many months, and moms who are having more kids, in some cases years of their lives, pregnant, and dealing with the difficulties of pregnancy, and the nausea, and the tiredness, and the varicose veins, and the difficulties. Saying, that's another member of this division standing up for the Jewish people. Way to go, Jewish mom. So after I did my blood test, I ran into a friend from the neighborhood. She was there with her, I think, 3-year-old son. And she was there with him, and there had been a confusion about the hours. She had thought that her pediatrician worked in the morning, and actually he worked in the afternoons. So so basically she had been stuck there. She had been waiting for an hour, and she said now I have to wait another hour, and her son is running around and making trouble, a very active, energetic kid. And she said, okay. She said, so I'm waiting for another hour because I think he has an ear infection, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to take care of him. I thought to myself, it's another one, another member of the Jewish mom, the volunteer division, who are supporting, standing up, raising the next generation of the Jewish people. So I'm saluting you, Jewish mom. You are a member of this division, of the division of Jewish moms. You're pregnant, all the more so. You're raising teenagers, all the more so. Having children in shidduchim like me, all the more so. So I'm saluting you. Everything that we do, everything we Jewish moms are doing, and the volunteers, and us, and we're also volunteers, doing what we can to help people, to help the Jewish people, to stand up for the next generation, to raise the next generation, to educate them. So just another look of the snow, how beautiful it is. Okay, so I wishing you Jewish moms a Shabbat Shalom.